fact is, they drop their stock into the grey market for their own profits, to make their own bonuses and to make, cash flow. And listen, I don't really have a problem, but you can't, in the industry of ADs, compare, the grey market, we want them out, blah, blah, blah. But then you're like, Let's go. What is up, YouTube? It's James from Robin Henry Watches. We're back at the bar.
And it looks different, but we've moved.
We've moved.
About 2 meters to the left.
We're more colourful.
Different angle.
Yes.
It's evolving.
It is evolving. And we've got booze now.
We have.
I don't know if you could see the booze last time.
No, I don't think you could.
No.
There was lots of counters.
Yeah,
lots of counters.
That's all right.
That's all right, don't worry about it.
So obviously we've got Matt back with us today.
Right. He's upgraded already.
I know. What are you wearing?
I am wearing a
Rolex.
A Rolex day date.
Was that a date?
Reference 6611.
6611, yes.
Beautiful, actually.
It is beautiful.
On a lovely leather strap.
You actually got that to perfect focus. Well done. You're learning.
Professional.
The man's learning. What are you wearing?
I am wearing a...
hidden under your... Is it camo or is it like that thing that they do in mental health things where they're like, what do you see in the picture?
Yeah, probably.
What's it called? Rorschach test.
I am wearing a Cartier Centaur, but fresh in today.
You're hiding it behind the microphone. Stop it.
Parastar. I'm not going to get this in focus.
All right, Will Ferrell.
What makes it Parastar?
It says Paris on it.
Oh,
that's it.
It's a thing in Cartier. It's like it could almost be the equivalent on vintage Rolex, where you get the red Submariner, the red Sea Dweller. That's what the Paris is, because normally on the more modern ones you get Swiss or Swiss made. So the ones to collect in vintage are the Paris stars. It's manual wind, opposed to the other quartz one we've sold. So yeah, this one.
Where their flagship is. That's kind of what makes it.
So it'll be staying with me for a while. Right. So what are we talking about today?
So we're going to be talking about an article. It comes from WatchPro, and it's about
credible news site.
Credible news site, absolutely.
Completely objective as well.
Yeah, but they're basically talking about how the secondary market has fallen by, I think it's 13%
on secondary prices.
On secondary prices, that is, yeah, in 2020 this year compared to 2022.
It's gone up about 13%.
I mean, listen. The interest, you know what? The first thing that I took away actually is, obviously everyone knows that the prices have gone down. This report was written up by Morgan Stanley, which is odd that they're even getting into this whole analysis game for watches, whether they're looking at it for commodity trading or for their own investments or people. I don't know. Anyway, I didn't get into that detail. But what stuck out to me was that the prices now, though, are still higher than where they were in early 21, and I was like, 2021 was like a
peak.
Yeah,
peak,
right?
Yeah,
so they've come down, which is good. It's good for consumers. But some perspective, there's still a lot of models trading over retail. But yes, the market's down on secondary pricing, but that's a good thing, because where we were was just... I mean, there was that meme that we used to play on YouTube. It had like Fat Joe in it, Diddy...
Oh, yeah. Yes,
and Drake's
price.
Was it Drake? I can't remember.
Yeah.
He's like,
yesterday's price is not today's price.
Yesterday's price is not today's price, and now it works. But the other way around, it's like the price has gone down now.
Wasn't Khaled in the room as well?
Yeah. Khaled was there. So yeah, I mean, listen, for most of us in the watch kind of, not even just the industry, but also as consumers, they're aware that prices are coming down, because it makes it difficult now, because there's a lot of people that bought watches in that time which are selling right now. One of the first questions that I'm asking people when they're like, will you buy it? And they're not giving me a price. I'm like, when did you buy it? Mm-hmm. I had one just this week.
And people are like, oh.
Yeah, and I'm like, they're like, well, I just got it, 21 days ago. I was like, oh, well, I'm sorry, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but...
I hope you really like that watch, because you're either keeping it or it's going to hurt.
There is some positive news in the report.
There is. Well, actually, there's something that I wanted to bring up in the report, which is, I'm not going to say the name properly, so apologies to everyone, casual watch person. The Vacheron Constantin, it seemed like they had the most watches going on the market at the time as well.
No. So the report touched on what's still doing well. So Rolex still overall has more models or SKUs from a retailer point of view that are trading over retail. But of those SKUs, although Rolex is doing the best with more models going over retail, the actual above retail price, Patek, is held up the best. I believe, and I could be wrong, but I think it's around 40%
Could very well
it's
be.
Substantial anyway.
One of the biggest drops in the market, or brand should I say, which a lot of people are now well aware of, Audemars Piguet. Their prices, they probably shot up the quickest, I would say. Don't get me wrong, Pateks were in there as well. But AP's just shot up, pretty much every Royal Oak.
Yeah.
They've come down harder. So they're kind of, I think they're about 13% over retail. But a lot of dealers have been speaking about the actual demand for AP is low. There was a dealer in London, I think it was an article that was actually on WatchPro some time ago, and he said, he's a big central pre-owned dealer, saying he could count on one hand the amount of inquiries he had for APs in the last year.
Wow.
And that's like, you'd be thinking there'd be a lot more.
Yeah, a lot more,
And he quoted at the time, Watchfinder was holding loads and they haven't sold one. We know someone who's struggled to, from where it was, don't get me wrong, probably at the time he's still done okay on it, but from, what he was getting quoted a year ago to now is AP's fallen out of grace. And I don't think it's because of the actual watches, it was so hyped up.
Yeah.
People got carried away.
Yeah.
So
Everyone's got a bad taste in their mouth now.
yeah, pretty much. It's just like a stock gone bad, really. But
So yeah, the what's the best way of putting this? But yeah, the flipper market exploded, as we know, in 2021.
And now it's imploding.
And now it's properly imploded. It's odd how it's gone from something so crazy, everyone buying. There must be so much.
Everyone's scared now. That's the real thing.
The point worth here pointing out is, why did the prices shoot up so much? And the answer to that is, a lot of people came into the industry at that time, backpack dealers, new guys, and the way that the prices got hyped up was because they were all selling to each other. Mm-hmm. So let's say, for example, someone gets a Rolex out the AD, they sell it to me, they want a $3,000 profit. So the AD's made their money. Mm-hmm. The guy that sold it to me has made his $3,000 too. Let's say if it's on a $10,000 watch, the AD probably made $4,000 pre-tax. The guy flipping it's made $3,000. No way he's declaring that to income tax. No. Then it comes to a guy like me. So I've had to pay them for that. Then I want to sell it. But let's say if I just want to make a quick flip, I might sell it to you for, let's say, a £300 to £500 profit. I mean, good luck, but they were roughly going at that sort of price for, say, a $10,000 watch. I'd mark up £300 to £500, and then you might sell it on to him, another dealer, for, say, another £300 markup, and then he's marking up, let's say, £1,000 to his retail customer. But the demand, where the prices got hyped, especially in like the AP, Patek, and Rolex market, it was dealers selling among themselves.
Yeah.
And then before it got to the consumer, and then obviously a lot of people got left holding the bag. A lot of people, have just seen probably like 24 months of consecutive dips.
Look how the dealers are operating now. They're scared to buy, and they only want to sell.
They do. Yeah.
Well, more not only that.
I know that sounds obvious, but you know what I mean.
Well, not only that, they that's why so many of them have gone down this consignment model, because they don't want to hold the bag on a stock essentially, or a product that is just coming down like this. We thought maybe in 22 it's kind of bottoming out right at the end of 22, and then kind of quarter one of 23 it had a bit of a resurgence.
Yeah.
You thought, okay,
well, everyone was finally feeling free.
And thinking, okay, well, we've hit the floor here, and then quarter two came, and it's come down more still. And I guess then the next question is it going to come down more?
Yeah, that was going to be my next question actually. It was going to be like, where do you think it's going to be?
Well, that's the thing.
Come the summer.
You got to look at some of the kind of the hot piece. You look at things like a steel Daytona now. That's not far over list these days. Can it go much further? There are areas. There's pockets of real hotness still. Yeah.
I mean,
depends where you look.
There are places around. If you really drive a hard bargain, you might get one at 18, 19, 20 grand, especially for a black dial. Where's it? I mean, unless you've got a crystal ball, who knows?
Yeah.
I would say the best that the market could hope for, if you wanted to be positive, was it won't get any worse, or there'll be fluctuations, but it might come out at year end where we are now.
Yeah.
if I had to, I'm not a betting man, but if I had to bet money, I would still say it's going to come down maybe another 10%.
Yeah.
Maybe even 15.
My gut says
not in one jump though. I think it'll just come down.
Yeah. Think back to like the peak of the hype, and you look at things that weren't so hot, the kind of the neo vintages, the Amigas, that sort of thing. They fluctuated, but it was normal fluctuation. It was up, down, little and often. That's hopefully where we're getting to now. It will just fluctuate little bits.
Well, let's hope so, because the report basically says that it's been falling for like 7 consecutive quarters. So
yeah,
that's quite substantial.
At some point, it has to stop, or at the very least, it has to relax and stabilise.
Do you know what? One of the things that was stand out as well. Let me get my exact facts.
This is the new high quality Apple paper. Which we're using.
You know that I'm a big fan of
all those Rolex dollars.
Wait, where is it? Where is it? Yes. So every maison, so every company owned publicly traded by the Swatch Group and Richemont, all of its watches being sold on the secondary market are below retail.
All of them?
Nuts.
All of them.
Absolutely nuts.
So you think of all the companies under Swatch, that's Omega, Blancpain, Longines.
Yeah.
There's so many, it's impossible to come up with all their names. Richemont, what's Richemont?
It's alarming.
I want to say Cartier, IWC, and others.
It shows the power that Rolex holds, though.
Well, yeah, the money they've invested for decades, but that's good because that's where we used to be.
Yes.
And I think that's right because everyone's saying like, listen, I don't consider myself a grey market dealer. Obviously, I only do neo vintage watches, but even prior, that's what I started doing. And I was always doing in those years. I was doing a lot of Omega. I mean, eight Seamasters a week easily. I mean, all of the Omega ADs basically had no customers because of me. But the point is, grey market dealers existed beforehand. Why? Because you could buy these watches cheaper than at the AD. Because you have to remember, the ADs, crying their little crocodile tears. Two things. One, they're making anywhere from 30 to 45-50% margin. And two, these mofos sell out the back door to grey dealers. Now listen, I've never been at that kind of size, but the fact is they drop their stock into the grey market for their own profits, to make their own bonuses and to make, cash flow. And listen, I don't really have a problem, but you can't, in the industry of ADs, compare, the grey market, we want them out, blah, blah, blah. But then you're like...
But that's going to stop now though, right?
No, go back to it.
Well, I was saying, will it stop? Sorry.
No, go on. Sorry, you talk.
I'm saying, will it stop because now they're doing that whole come in and buy the secondary market watch from us?
Yes, that's what I'd say. I mean, in the last week I had an email of a large AD in the UK that was saying, as a special client, we're going to do 20% off our range of IWCs. As the sales slow, and they're looking at their overheads, they're looking at their
they're in line with grey market. Well done.
they're gonna get to a squeeze point over the whether it be this year or next year, where they're gonna need to move units, and they will dump them on the market. They're still doing it now, but just they haven't been doing it to the same extent. Brands like IWC, did they benefit from the hype? No,
of course not.
I mean,
nice watch though.
Yeah, great watches.
I mean, look at the psychology as well. You talk about obviously like ADs crying about the grey market existing. Who's crying? Because your sales assistants, they don't give a crap at all, do they?
Nope.
Because as long as they get paid, they sell to whoever they're told to sell to. The store managers don't really care. They're selling out the back door. They're not saying, I wish the grey market would die, because they can sell out the back door to the grey market. Who is it? It's the execs. And the execs aren't selling out the back door. There's no collective, Watches of Switzerland's group directive that you should sell out the back door. It's only the execs that will complain about the grey market, because everyone below that benefits from the grey market existing.
Well, if they didn't do it, they didn't discount. And why do they have to discount? Because some of these watches are not worth their sticker price, right? They've all done it through the good years. Let's put the price up. I mean, Omega is terribly guilty of this.
Hell,
very posh, terribly guilty.
Even Rolex.
They put prices twice in a year, and then wonder why they're not worth the money when they're pricing their watches over Rolex. And I know, like before the Omega fanboys come out, and be like, but they're technically better. Daniel's all coaxial movement. But, you know,
But overtake that. Rolex, we know, is
they're not worth the money.
Rolex.
The market will always
intrinsically-
decide what the price is.
Yeah, from a everything point of view, Rolex is worth the money. From an intrinsic point of view, the watches themselves in a vacuum are not worth the money they are.
No.
So take that and then put Omega's price increase on top of that. They're well out of touch with the value proposition. Rolex has a cachet to go with it, but it's still not an intrinsic value.
Sorry, I was just going to say, you've got that Omega with a casual watchman here, so I don't know its name. The all gold Omega with a president style dial. That one was like...
You mean the bracelet?
Yeah, the bracelet.
So the Speedmaster.
Style, yeah, Speedmaster.
Yeah.
That one there, that was going for like 45k or something like that.
No, so they're around 38 now.
So 38.
But listen,
Yeah,
I mean, I can
sure
tell you
before.
something on that watch. So when that watch came out, I wanted to buy it.
Oh, I know what you talk about now. Okay, yeah.
Sorry,
Right.
casual.
So
No,
that
it's
watch at the time was about 30k, maybe a bit less. I'm probably talking ex-fat figures here, but it was around 30 grand. I put my name on this because I'm like, it's a beautiful looking watch. I want it. Maybe that was the UK price, and I was thinking, oh, okay, I'll get it for less with the VAT off. And then by the time that my name came up on the list,
Lucky you.
they give me the call, James, we got it for you. And I'm like, how much now?
Yeah.
38. This was over like the period of, I think it was maybe 12, 14, 16 months, something like that.
It wasn't quick.
And I'm just like, are you kidding me? Like, I don't mind waiting for a great watch. I don't mind paying a premium. I mean, 30 grand's a lot of money for an Omega Speedmaster, excuse my language.
Well, it is.
But then 38 grand. Like, do you know what the price of a precious metal Daytona is? Way less.
Yeah.
At the time, this was about, this must have been sometime last year I got the call.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, no.
No.
I'm laughing.
In fact,
I'm not paying
did you
38
not turn that down with the intention of buying a Daytona, if I remember rightly?
Yeah, but I wasn't paying that money.
No.
Well, you wouldn't choose that.
I'd rather buy an all gold sub for 30 grand. You can get them for that. I mean,
Yeah.
listen, maybe that's one because, like, obviously a lot of the precious metal Rolex now are under retail. You know, if you've watched every video that I've ever put out, which, I mean, poor you if you have. But I said about a year ago, I was like, the precious metal Rolex watches are going to be the first watches to come down because the days of going to an AD, putting 30, 40 grand on your card and then walking out the door and calling someone up being like, how much will you give me for it? Making 2, 3, 4 grand. They're gone. Now you're going to have to take a 4 or 5 grand haircut. So no one wants them now.
No.
They're available even at our
Never
local.
heard that phrase, and I love it.
Why do you not heard that? You got
But
to take a haircut. No, but it makes sense, huh? But they're available now. I was
Yes.
told by someone last week, locally,
Yeah.
that they've got precious metal sky dwellers
I've heard the same.
in the shop,
I've
ready
said
to
from
go
that.
right now.
And they were never available before.
Before the hype, yes, they were. During the hype,
Sorry, that's
absolutely
not
not. No, they were going.
You'd be
They was-
laugh.
they were like through the roof. I think when I was in Madeira, to be fair, I think there was one available to me in 22, but it was like 40 odd thousand euros. I was like, are you
And
kidding
if
me?
you're paying that, you're keeping it.
I
for
flew
a
here on
very long
EasyJet.
time. The service on that alone is going to be painful when it comes to the time.
Throw it in the bin.
Not worth it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Say you dropped it.
All right, System 51. Cool. Shall we draw it to a close there?
I think so. I don't think there's anything else. Anything else? You have to say on it?
I'm just going to do the...
Also, a quick word from our sponsors. Heineken are really pleased to see that you've.
Mister, I'll put it in the basket and it'll be ready for us tonight. Oh, really?
Full disclosure, Heineken do not sponsor us. This isn't an ad. We're not sponsored by any brand. We are not paid.
Currently.
We're not even paid by YouTube, really, to do this. We're not paid by anyone.
And they haven't even paid me out once yet, because I think I've got to hit a threshold of £60.
And if
but I'm
you,
close.
And if you guys don't buy a watch, he's going to beat me. He's not going to pay me. He's going to beat me.
I don't get paid, so I'm fine.
And he's got his child upstairs right now.
There is one thing though, they do still say that Rolex GMTs can still be flipped for 48.2% over their retail price.
I believe that in certain cases.
Which
if you have
one?
the right
Do you
buyer.
know what I think though? Yeah, you could flip that, but it'd have to be to the end consumer. I don't think a dealer is going to pay you that.
It will not go
And then
from dealer to dealer. No way.
We had a
No,
conversation.
no way.
Yeah, you'd have to buy that VAD and then sell it to your mate
In a very deprived
or
area.
to someone privately, whether that be via eBay or Chrono24, that wants it, so they'll get it maybe like $1,000 or $2 below.
I'd be interested
What,
to
a dealer
see,
seller?
I didn't check this is on me, but the 48%, does that include things like list fees?
No, it's not a tangible figure.
Yeah.
So that's probably what they're being listed for, or maybe some sold
And
prices
that's
they
my
picked
point.
up.
You stick it
But
on
that'll be
Chrono
from a
24,
dealer.
that's eating
Yeah.
into a huge
And also,
chunk.
do you want to pay that sort of a premium of a private person on Chrono24? Because do you know what a super clone looks like? Can you tell the difference?
Well, certainly
Well,
not
personally, I
these days.
can't.
That's a risk. Because
Yeah.
once you've accepted it on a private sale, there is
Good luck.
no comeback.
Oh,
Whereas
brilliant.
if you buy it from a dealer, at least you've got the chance to go back and be like, you sold me this, where's my damn money?
And to be fair, look at it from their perspective, the ultimate con. I buy a GMT off you on Chrono, legit GMT, I've got a super clone waiting. I take it apart, I show it to Chrono and say, look, this isn't real. I've still got my GMT in the back. I say, screw you, you sent me a fake one, as long as it's identical.
Yeah, I think,
There's no
you
way
know,
to
like
prove
when
it.
I
Before you're getting hard there, I wouldn't have thought that out.
Well, listen, this is why when I was a collector, and if I wanted a great vintage watch, I'd go to Amsterdam Vintage Watches. That sounded like the most sponsored post ever.
That was so
Right.
sponsored.
So they're not open, like, it's not a walk-in shop anymore, isn't it, by appointment now?
By appointment, but listen, the point is that I was happy to pay them a premium to buy from them because, you know, when you're new into it, especially with vintage, and if you don't know what you're doing, like, they took all the worry out of that for me, and you're like, well, I trust them.
Yeah.
Let's wrap it up. Give us your thoughts on the state of the market below in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe, and more importantly,
Please buy something.
go to the shop, buy something.
I wasn't joking earlier, I will not be eating if you don't buy something.
Everyone's
Loads-
waiting for payday, January.
Loads of great vintage watches. You've already lost out on one or two by the time this has come out, so don't lose. The best day to buy a vintage watch
Is today.
Didn't rip that off
That's,
whatsoever.
that's so corny.
I know.
Oh god, it's like an 80s commercial. Oh god, right, goodbye.